we really don't talk about that fact enough. That Elon Musk is trying to escape. Because he clearly doesn't think the Earth is going to survive. And while he really tries to frame reaching Mars as this gift he is giving to humanity, he'd probably just settle for saving one person at the expense of... there it is. And the products he offers, specifically the proposed solutions to infrastructure like Starlink and his tunnels, are actually kind of half-assed and clearly not his top priority. Like, out of all his investments, he's dumped way more money into SpaceX than anything else. It's his top solution to climate change. Doing a contest and leaving the planet, that is. It's his approach to most things. Escaping people. The reason he doesn't want to focus on public transportation, but rather tunnels filled with personalized death pods, is because he personally just doesn't like being around people. Ignore the efficiency and accessibility of trains, because people are gross. Also because it doesn't always take you where to go, and isn't always on time. Two problems apparently far too insurmountable for our space genius here. But like, dude clearly just wants to live alone on Mars. Maybe Grimes can come, maybe. And when you realize that about him, that he sees most of humanity as doomed and icky to begin with, you kind of question how helpful he is, you know? Like, how is assuming the Earth is doomed and that we need to ascend to the stars any different than believing in, say, the biblical rapture, an apocalyptic finale where only the most deserving are saved? But instead of God picking, it's the guy who thinks woke James Bond is a joke. Get away, tweet! Get the f*** away, you tweets! Remember when I talked about top-down thinking? It's kind of like when you watch a Michael Bay film. He clearly wanted to have an explosion every 15 minutes, and so starts there, and then goes backward to justify it within a script. Maybe not always an explosion, sometimes it's boobs, or, amazingly, a very drawn-out explanation of how to f*** a teenager. But you get what I'm saying, in that the fundamental story is secondary to the aesthetic result. Well, Musk is kind of the Michael Bay of technology. He starts where he wants the future to look, and works backwards. He loves the idea of a Star Trek world, but doesn't actually want to do the work that gets us there. He wants to go to Mars, but doesn't want to create or leave behind a society worthy of that. And his excuse is that climate change has made that impossible. But also, even recently, he's talked about how climate change isn't that big a deal, and moving to renewables is just a good idea to do sooner rather than later. Like, he says it's not good, but we'll probably be okay, and when it gets bad, it'll be because of the current poor countries industrializing.
Like, I don't think we're currently doomed. If we keep going and if we're complacent, then I think we could, there's some risk of sort of non-linear climate change. This has to end up with renewable, sustainable energy. It's tautological. It's really just a question of, do we try to get there sooner or later? And we should try to get there sooner. It's obvious. I think at the the sort of 400, possibly even 500 ppm level, I think it's probably okay. But if as the world industrializes, and we're sort of at 8 billion people, get to 9 billion people, have a lot more industrial output per person, you could see the at what might be okay at sort of 400 or 500 parts per million of CO2 in the atmosphere might become quite dire at 1,000.
Yep.
And the trend is certainly in that direction if we don't do anything about it.
Also, weird moment at the end where he talks about how you don't want to f*** up the ocean because then the reefs will die. And the host points out that that's already happening. The reefs are dying. But he responds...
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, sure. It's a weird disconnect where climate catastrophe is both imminent, we gotta get out of here, and like also, sure, like let's just slowly move away from fossil fuels, but it will be fine ultimately. And like, I don't know, maybe we shouldn't really take seriously the data analysis and predictions of a guy who said there'd be next to 0 new COVID cases in the US by the end of April 2020, and then had hundreds at his own company. But also, let's say he actually does believe that climate change has doomed or could doom the planet. Has he even tried to do something? Like, really tried or even considered? because there are things he could be doing to help both environmental and societal problems. Helpful things that shockingly don't involve space. When you think about how technology changes society, you have to think about the biggest inventions and the time in which they existed. Fire, for example, allowed cave folk to warm themselves and find rest at night, allowing our thoughts to evolve in a calmer environment. Also, campfire f***ing and s'mores. Great stuff. Perhaps a more relevant example is the internet and what it's done for, everything. In terms of social justice, smartphones have helped more people notice that perhaps cops shouldn't have guns. There's no denying that technology leads to societal change, but not all technology. Some technology is just pointless and evil. Others are just way too ambitious to work. You gotta really hit it just right. Tesla, the inventor, he mattered because what he invented filled a hole we desperately needed to advance. It allowed us to live and work differently, to communicate easier, etc. Cut to now, and we have very specific issues popping up, climate change being the big one, along with wealth inequality, civil rights, more Pop-Tart flavors, and so on. Going to Mars doesn't actually help that. It's like 100 steps away from where we are, and at least right now, probably isn't going to be remembered as a brilliant solution to any of our problems. It is a cynical act by a rich guy who isn't betting on the human race, and doesn't super seem to have a grasp on it. Here's Elon misinterpreting and mangling a quote from the late Carl Sagan, his famous pale blue dot quote.
Channeling Carl Sagan. Look again at that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you've ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of competent religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor, and explorer. Every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on a mote of dust suspended in a sunbeam. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. This is not true. This is false. Mars.
And I think Carl Sagan would agree with that. He couldn't even imagine it at that time.
First of all, Mars isn't like a safe place for humanity to migrate to at the moment. We got a few robots up there. We're figuring the place out. Second of all, Carl Sagan was very aware of Mars existing and could imagine a future where humans tried to set up shop there. Carl Sagan was alive when we, went to the moon. But third of all, and most importantly, Musk didn't finish the quote. Here is that quote. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit, yes. Settle, not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. There is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known. The quote isn't about how we have nowhere to go. It's about how important and precious this place is. Even a successfully terraformed Mars is dog shit compared to Earth. So the point is, let's make this place good. Make it worth saving. It's just weird he didn't finish the quote, is what I'm saying. I don't know. What was I talking about? Elon Musk thinking climate change means we're doomed. But also, sure, I guess it's mostly fine. But also, what are we to do but leave? Hey, thanks for watching that clip. Here's the evergreen end plate to ask you to like and subscribe. It's any day of the year where you are.